Hisense Roku TV, 2021, the best cheap TV for 4K streaming. To get the complete 4K streaming experience on a budget, we recommend picking up either the 43-inch or 50 inches version of the Hisense Roku TV. Running the fabulous Roku OS, this smart TV is your one-stop shop for on-demand content. All the big names are here, from Disney Plus and now to Netflix and Amazon Prime Video, and you can of course access the free UK catch-up services as well. The Film and TV channel store on the Roku TV has 931 apps to choose from, making Roku the most comprehensive platform there is. HDR 4K picture quality is excellent for the price, delivering 99% coverage of the rec, 709 color space in the accurate movie mode setting, and upscaling from FHD isn't half bad, either. Just don't expect stunningly bright images and jaw-dropping, high contrast high dynamic range playback. Yes, the HDR10 and HLG formats are supported, but this TV simply lacks the brightness and color bit depth of more premium 4K HDR TVs. At this price, who can complain? This is actually a refresh of the original Hisense Roku TV, though it isn't much different to its predecessor. Slimmed down bezels and an updated OS, which also rolled out to last-gen Roku TVs, are about the only things to mention. The price hasn't gone up since last year, though, so that's a plus. Samsung Q80T 55 inches, QE55 Q80T, the best TV we've tested at under £1,000. As the cheapest Samsung QLED to come with fouled LED backlighting, the Q80T is clearly the South Korean firm's best value TV this year. Whereas the cheaper QLEDs such as the Q70T and Q60T make do with edge-lit LED LCD panels, the Q80T 55 inches we tested has 50 independently controlled dimming zones. This means it has a higher contrast level and greatly improved backlight accuracy compared to its cheaper sublimits. It does add a decent amount of bulk to the chassis, however. For HDR, the Q80T supports HDR10, HLG and HDR10+, but not Dolby Vision, and overall HDR presentation is fantastic. The Q80T has a higher peak brightness than its predecessor, the Q70R, so HDR playback is more impactful, and it does a better job of retaining specular highlight detail too. Better still, Samsung has finally added an option to control the TV's dynamic tone mapping feature, so you're able to achieve a more technically accurate HDR picture than on previous QLED models. This isn't just a TV for film buffs, mind you. It's also the best gaming TV in its price range thanks to its single HDMI 2.1 input, which supports key next-gen gaming features including variable refresh rate and 4K at 120 Hz. The HDMI 2.1 port also features auto low latency mode for engaging the Q80T's low latency game mode. Our review model delivered an ultra-fast input lag of 12 milliseconds, so it's ideal for fast-paced, competitive play. For PS5 and Xbox Series X owners, the Q80T 55 inches is the best value TV out there. LG C1 OLED, the 4K OLED beat in 2021. No matter what you want from your new TV, whether it be gaming prowess, class-leading 4K HDR picture quality, impressive audio, cutting-edge smarts or all of the above, the LG C1 will not disappoint. This mid-range 4K OLED is the follow-up to our favorite all-around TV of 2020, the LG CX, so expectations were high. We're happy to say that the LG C1 met and then exceeded them. From the svelte design to the unparalleled HDR performance, this really is the TV to beat. It doesn't come cheap, of course, but we were happily surprised to find that all the LG C1 models actually launched at a lower price than their 2020 LG CX equivalents. film and TV enthusiasts will relish the stunning dynamic range made possible by the OLED panel's pixel-level control. Deep inky blacks, detailed specular highlights and vibrant colors bring HDR movies and shows to vivid life like no other TV at this price can. The refined near-black gradation, color accuracy and comprehensive color coverage, it hits 99% of the DCI-P3 range, put the C1 right at the top of its class. Sadly, there's no HDR10 Plus on board, though the HDR10, HLG and Dolby Vision support make up for it. As for upscaling, the LG's new Alpha 9 Gen 4 processor can make 1080p Blu-rays look so good you'd think they were native 4K. Gamers are well served here too, just as they were with the LG CX. There are 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, and every single one supports next-gen features such as variable refresh rate, G-Sync and FreeSync, 4K at 120Hz and auto low latency mode, ensuring that PC, Xbox Series X and PS5 owners can get the absolute maximum out of their prized consoles. And response times? With the LG C1 in-game optimizer mode, we measured a ludicrously low input lag of just 6 milliseconds. Samsung Q95T 55 inches, QE55 Q95T, the best and brightest Samsung 4K QLED. The Q95T is Samsung's flagship 4K HDR QLED TV. While it may not be as fancy or feature-packed as the South Korean Titan's latest 8K models, it's still the best QLED you can buy for relatively sensible money. Starting from £1,799 at the time of our review, it's actually £1,000 cheaper than the launch price of its predecessor, the excellent Samsung Q90R. Like the Q90R, the Q95T's panel uses a viewing angle compensation film that makes the TV look great from almost anywhere in the room, and its anti-glare filter does a brilliant job of suppressing the reflections from external light sources, making it ideal for well-lit living rooms. The One Connect box is another nice touch. All of the TV's connections are channeled from an external box via a single near-invisible cable, eliminating unsightly cable clutter. Whereas the 55-inch Q90R had 240 local dimming zones, the 55-inch Q95T has only 120. But don't be put off, Samsung has greatly improved its local dimming algorithm in the past year, so movies and games look punchier than ever on the Q95T, with superior shadow detail, fewer luminance fluctuations and more impactful specular highlights. What's more, the Q95T's peak luminance is around 200 nits higher than the Q90R's. With HDR10, HDR10 Plus and hybrid logs gamma support, the Q95T has you well covered for HDR content. Finally, its HDMI 4 port is HDMI 2.1 compliant and supports gaming features such as variable refresh rate and 4K at 120Hz playback, meaning you'll get the most out of current-gen and next-gen gaming consoles. Sony XH90 75 inches, 75x H9005, gigantic HDR thrills for reasonable money. Of Sony's many current 4K TVs, the XH90 is the only series that's ready for the next generation of consoles thanks to its HDMI 2.1 support for auto low latency mode, 4K at 120Hz and variable refresh rate. That makes it the only Sony 4K TV of the year worth considering if you're planning to purchase a Sony PS5 or Xbox Series X and it's not all about the gaming, either. Sony's motion handling algorithm is about as good as it gets, and it's plain to see on the XH90. Motion control is superb, with exceptional smoothness in 24p movies, and motion interpolation results in hardly any skipping or unsightly artifacts. Color coverage and accuracy are great, too, especially after calibration, and the high level of brightness makes for more impactful HDR images compared to OLED competitors. There aren't many local dimming zones on the 75-inch XH90 we tested, so it can't match the luminance control of a TV such as the Samsung Q95T 55 inches, which has 120 zones, but panel uniformity is solid and it can produce exceptionally deep blacks, elevating the TV's contrast in darker scenes. For HDR playback you've got HDR10, HLG and Dolby Vision. As far as we're concerned, this is the best 75 inches 4K TV that's actually somewhat affordable. Philips OLED Plus 935 55 inches, 55 OLED 935/12, the complete audio and visual experience. The third collaboration between Philips and British audio brand Bowers & Wilkins, the OLED Plus 935 is the most luxurious Philips 4K TV on the market. As well as its four-sided Ambilight bias lighting system, the 935 has an integrated B&W speaker bar that puts its audio performance head and shoulders above any other TV we've tested. It won't match a full surround sound setup, admittedly, but the speaker bar can still fill a room with an impactful soundstage from its left, center and right channels, negating the need for a separate soundbar. On the image quality front, the 935 is unbeatable within its price range, delivering class-leading brightness and gamut coverage plus impeccable color accuracy. The incredible contrast levels of OLED are on full display here, and every high dynamic range format is supported, from HDR10+ to Dolby Vision and hybrid log gamma. In a properly dark room, few OLED TVs can perform better than the 93 add in the customizable four-sided Ambilight, and it really is the complete cinematic experience. There aren't any HDMI 2.1 inputs on the 935, which means no VRR or 4K 120Hz frame rates for gaming on next-gen consoles. If that's what you're after, then the LG C1 OLED is clearly the better choice. The 935's HDMI 2.0B ports do at least support ALLM, auto low latency mode, however, so the TV's low latency game mode will kick into action automatically when compatible consoles are connected. Philips 805 65 inches, 65 OLED 805, OLED excellence at a competitive price. The Philips 805 is arguably the best value OLED TV on the market right now. Beginning at only £1,499 for the 55-inch model and peaking at £2,199 for the 65-inch model we tested, it's the most accessible of the entry-level OLEDs, undercutting rivals from Sony, LG and Panasonic. Like other OLEDs, the 805 offers great viewing angles, vibrant colors and an extremely high contrast ratio, but it also has the added benefit of Ambilight, Philips' immersive integrated bias lighting system. Ambilight really adds to the viewer's immersion, changing hues to match the on-screen action while also reducing eye fatigue when watching in a darkened room. High dynamic range support is universal on the Philips 805, with coverage for HDR10, HDR10+, hybrid log gamma and Dolby Vision. The 805 makes the absolute most of its TV-led implementation of Dolby Vision, optimizing tone mapping and color mapping from scene to scene without exhibiting any black crush. And because it has the second highest brightness of any OLED, behind only the Panasonic HZ2000, below, the 805 produces dazzlingly bright specular highlights. It's not as much of an all-rounder as the LG C1 listed above, however, since its refresh rate is capped at 60 Hz and it doesn't have any HDMI 2.1 inputs. That means number 4K 120 Hz capabilities and no variable refresh rate, two of the key next-gen gaming features that Xbox Series X and PS5 owners should be looking out for. But if you're not a hardcore gamer and simply want class-leading 4K HDR picture performance, then the 805 is a reasonably priced way to get it. Sony Bravia AG9 65 inches, KD65AG9, another OLED marvel from Sony. Sony smashed it out of the park with 2018's AF9, and now the Sony Master Series AG9 has done it all over again. It boasts class-leading video processing prowess, the cleanest and sharpest upscaling from sub-4K sources, and the smoothest color gradation compared with its rivals. The 65-inch Sony AG9 launched at a whopping £3,999, though it was £3,799 by the time our review unit arrived, and now hovers between £1,999 and £2.69, hardly cheap, yet a lot more accessible than it was. Thanks to Sony's acoustic surface technology, it also sounds better than pretty much any of its rivals. This turns the entire screen into one giant speaker, and the result is impressive clarity and forceful bass. You can even connect it directly to a home cinema amplifier and use the TV speaker as a dedicated center speaker. Ingenious. There aren't a vast number of improvements over the Sony AF9, but there's enough here to make the AG9 a very worthy successor. While Dolby Vision HDR is still a tad darker than on rival OLED sets, it doesn't stop the Sony Bravia AG9 from being one of the best TVs you can buy right now. Panasonic HZ2000 65 inches, TX65HZ2000B, the best picture quality of any 4K TV. The Panasonic HZ2000 65 inches delivers exactly the level of picture quality you'd expect from the most expensive 4K TV of the year. Which is to say it's perfect. Or at least as close to perfect as you can get on a consumer television. In fact, its color coverage, color reproduction accuracy and black levels are so good that it can actually be used as a professional grading monitor. Panasonic has equipped the HZ2000 with a premium Master HDR OLED Professional Edition, which gives this model a higher maximum brightness and greater dynamic range than any previous Panasonic flagship, and its large built-in heatsink makes it more resistant to OLED burn-in, too. Like any OLED, the HZ2000's pixel level control enables it to achieve perfect blacks, high contrast levels and wide viewing angles, so HDR playback is stunning. But the OLED Professional Edition panel is also capable of higher peak brightness than any other OLED, so specular highlight details look much clearer than they do on rival televisions from Sony and LG. HDR coverage is universal, so you can enjoy high dynamic range content in every format, and there are also two types of HDR ambient light sensing technology, Dolby Vision IQ and intelligent sensing with Filmmaker mode. Both features adjust the panel's brightness levels during HDR playback based on external light, lifting shadow detail while trying to preserve the creative intent of the original image. And thanks to the HZ2000's immersive up-firing and front-firing Dolby Atmos speakers, you can get by without having to install a full surround sound setup in your living room. Thanks for watching. You'll find all the links down below the video. Subscribe to the channel.